Welcome everyone to a Good Vibes gaming discussion, and it's finally time to talk about Pokémon Legends Arceus. Because, hey, I finally got my review done. We don't have to wait on that anymore. Meanwhile, Brandon over here has beaten it ages ago. He's moved on to, 2-3 games later. But, I got to it. There were some analysis things to get done. I had to delay it. I'm sorry. But, hey, we're all here. We gave more time for all of you to get done with Pokemon Legends, because we're not going to start out with spoilers, but we will eventually get to spoilers and talk about sort of the end game, the post game, that sort of stuff, and get into that. Some of the new Pokemon, all that, those fun little additions. But for now, I've already given my review, so you know what I think. I want to go down the line here and see what everybody else thinks. And now I'm going to start with you, Ash. I know you've not finished it, but how far did you get into Pokemon Legends?
I got fairly deep into the second area of the overall game. I'm basically just here to offer any ancillary thoughts, and I don't mind spoilers for a Pokemon game personally, so I just figured I'd be here to react to the spoilers that I don't know about yet, and just, but I didn't get a chance to actually finish the game, but it's not because I don't like it. It's just, I feel like it didn't quite grab me in the way it did a lot of other people, but that said, I liked it enough that, given the time, I would like to go back and finish it. I really have enjoyed so far just the changes to the base Pokemon gameplay. Finally seeing this series step out of its comfort zone and giving us that not quite open world experience, obviously, but getting to just run around in open areas and see Pokemon in their natural habitats, catch them without having to get in, transition into a battle. Even battles, they take place right where you engage with a Pokemon. Like, I love that stuff. All that is exactly what I've wanted to see the Pokemon series do for such a long time. And yeah, it's a bit rough around the edges, sure, but overall, it's a huge step in the right direction for me. And given the time, I want to go back and finish it. It's just, too many other things going on. But I definitely like what I've played.
Yeah, fair enough. And Brandon, we actually originally conceived this discussion as something between the two of us. It just took us a little longer than we thought to get to it, because it's very Monster Hunter. At least it seemed to be very Monster Hunter. I don't know. I don't play Monster Hunter, but you do, and I'm kind of curious about your perspective from that line of thought. Because we were saying that before the release. Did it come across that way after its release?
No. I would say there are some elements there that are borrowed from Monster Hunter, but I wouldn't say that it is Monster Hunter itself. Specifically the battles against nobles, where the noble Pokemon have these big attacks. They have big windups, so there's tells, so you can figure out what they're going to use and how you need to dodge it. And that's kind of the core principle of Monster Hunter. You observe the monster, you learn their moves, see their tells, know what attacks they're going to use, and then you act appropriately. So from that perspective, it's like Monster Hunter. But then, after that, I would say it's kind of its own thing. Like, Monster Hunter also has usually 5 or 6 kind of large open environments for you to play the game in, and Arceus does that as well. But no, these are just very different experiences conceptually.
Makes sense, but did you still enjoy it? I guess that's the other question, is like how... Yeah.
This is my favorite Pokemon game, quite possibly ever.
Wow.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I think behind it are Pokemon Black and White and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but this was such a fresh and invigorating experience for me. And it also does exactly what I've wanted Pokemon to do ever since I was a kid. I was like, I want to walk around these environments, see Pokemon in the open. I want to physically throw the Pokeball and catch them like they did in the anime. And getting to do that was enough on its own just to like suck me right into this experience. For the first time in my life, I completed a Pokedex.
That is impressive.
Nice. Yeah.
What about you, Daniel? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
All right, Daniel, let's get your thoughts. How did you feel about Pokemon Legends? Are we going 4 for 4 here where everybody enjoyed it?
Yep, we're going 4 for 4 where all of us unanimously enjoyed this adventure. I echo a lot of things that Ash said. He mentioned that it's done a lot of things different that have needed to happen for a very long time with this series, just mechanically and also just just telling the story, exploring the world, all these sort of things kind of came together and made an experience that is unlike anything else in the entire franchise of this series. I don't know how I could. It's hard for me to place it right now because, like, I think by the time I play Scarlet and Violet, by that time I'll have more of an understanding of how this game lines up with the rest of the franchise, just because it's so different from everything else. Like, I still kind of see it as a side game, even though it's not classified as one. But it's definitely up there in terms of experiencing something new in Pokemon. I've never played a Monster Hunter, so I can't really compare it to one or not. But but yeah, I could totally tell how they really wanted to do something different here with the noble Pokemon, with just exploration, with catching Pokemon very seamlessly within a world that is just very wild, and just getting to that progression from Sword and Shield's wild area, coming here and seeing what it's become and now what it's evolving into. It's exciting, and I really hope that this kind of stuff just permeates and continues throughout the series going forward.
It feels like a shift, especially after seeing Scarlet and Violet revealed. And I'm curious how that game's going to end up. I don't know how much they're going to take from Legends, but there's a lot of good things to take from this game, particularly the gathering and even the catching. At a certain point, once I was comfortable with all its systems, I was often like, there's something to pick up, toss a Pokeball, keep running. There's something else to grab, toss a Pokeball, keep running. There's a Pokemon, toss a Pokemon, keep running. And you could just get so efficient where you're just grabbing usually low level stuff. When I saw some of the bigger stuff or some of the stuff that I know, the Pokemon that I know run away pretty quickly, it's one of those things where I just like, okay, time to hunker down and actually attempt to catch these with some real thought. But even the new Pokeballs, like we got the sort of sniper ball with the feather ball. We got the shotgun ball essentially with the heavy ball, where sneaking up on those things so you can get that back attack is definitely a little harrowing because that as soon as they, especially with Alpha, they turn around and it's like, it's screwed up and I got to fight this thing.
And you have to get really close with heavy balls too. Like, so many times I've been spotted by an alpha just trying to sneak up. And to be fair, I'm trying to catch them way before I really should be trying because I was still pretty low level. But it's kind of fun in this game to kind of step outside of what you might be comfortable actually doing and just trying to catch an alpha Pokemon that's clearly above what you're doing right now. And I was able to do that a couple times toward the beginning of the game. And it's exhilarating because I got to say, they sell the fear instilled by these Pokemon back in this ancient time. They sell that really well with the glowing red eyes, like, and their creepy sounds that some of them make, like I think it's Cricketune with the big alpha Cricketune or with the red eyes.
That's ridiculous.
That creepy, man. And like it
has one of the most famous
like,
calls in Pokemon just because of how long it is.
It just feels like it's you're the prey. And that they can be predators and that you're the prey. And I do like that, that they sell that illusion of Pokemon and humans not necessarily getting along way before the rest of the games we've all played. It's pretty cool.
Were you all thrown off as much as I was when they were literally saying, okay, if you can't earn your keep, you're going to go out there and into the wild and, hey, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
What?
They throw around the word death a lot.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Jesus.
They don't like you in those opening moments. They're like, who is this kid? You fell from the sky. Get out of our town.
Yeah.
Not be trusted.
It's like, you're 15. That's old enough to earn your keep. Well, thanks for letting me know I'm 15, not a 10-year-old. Like, all right, 10-year-old, go out and die.
Yeah, and if you don't make it, well, you might die in the wild. Okay, no big deal. Sure, cool. I'm just a kid, or as you said, 15 years old. So obviously old enough to be faced with that horrific reality.
Oh, sure.
But there is a bit more of an edge to it, I noticed, in the storytelling. And I know I didn't get that far, but just based on what I played, I know the example you're talking about, and it's definitely a bit darker than I've come to be used to from Pokemon outside of the Pokédex entries.
Mm-hmm. I will say one of the big things that kind of knocked the game for me, and I wish it was a little bit better about this, but I also know it's kind of not the point. But each area following the same formula got old really fast in a way that even gym battles don't do, because at least there's other stuff in the way. At least it feels like it changes things up in between gym battles. At least in the early games, at least, you got that all to worry about. And I don't feel like many of the characters were engaging enough to make those change ups enough, to make those like, all right, you've arrived at the area. You need to go meet the keeper of the Pokemon that you can ride and press them so you can ride the Pokemon. Okay, now you can use that ride Pokemon to reach the noble Pokemon, but you got to impress its guardian in order to take on the noble Pokemon. Then you fight the noble Pokemon and you're done. Move on to the next one. Repeat. It does change it up at the very end. When you get done with all the 5 noble Pokemon, it does start changing up the formula. But until that point, it's pretty repetitious, and honestly is saved by just the fact that it is fun going around catching Pokemon, finding new areas, exploring. The exploration saves it.
I think that's kind of part of the design philosophy around the way the main scenario is played out. Because rather than just doing the same 3 steps in all 5 locations, they're encouraging you to spend a little time there catching Pokemon, exploring what there is in these maps. And, I found myself doing that a lot. I don't think I left the first area for a long time because I just wanted to see everything.
Yeah. I basically explored every region of that first area that I could get to without relying on a ride Pokemon. Like, there's like an island in the center. Of course, you can't get there yet. But I basically went everywhere else that I could, and that's why it took me so long just to get to the second area. I think I was like up to rank 3 on my Pokedex before I even left, or before I even fought my first noble Pokemon. It was ridiculous.
How about you, Daniel?
Maybe even rank 4, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a whole lot in just that one area. It just reminded me of how much time I spent on the Great Plateau in Breath of the Wild. Just in the first area, just like, I want to see everything, what you can do, experiment with everything, and there's a lot to it. There's like this part where you're supposed to cross the bridge, but I spent so much time everywhere around it that I didn't continue the story for so much later.
There's a lot to see and do, and you're like, oh, I can go this way and see what that does and have fun with this. And I did, coming back after getting all of the rideable Pokemon, I did have some moments where I'm like, holy crap, there is this too, where you see just brand new Pokemon that were part of that area. Like, I found a long tunnel in the first area and just going through that and seeing what I could find. And then I doubled back and it's like, well, let's see what's above it. And you can literally travel across the top and find even more Pokemon once you can fly or climb or whatever. And it's just like, it's impressive. It's engaging. It pulls you in and makes you want to check out every inch of this place because you never know what Pokemon you're going to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's one specific Pokemon in the 5th locale, the Alabaster Icelands, that I didn't find for a long time because they were tucked away in specific little holes that I hadn't gone into yet. You already know what I'm talking about, but I came across it and I was like, finally, found you.
Nice.
It really invokes that feeling. Exactly. It invokes that rewarding feeling of you had to hunt for this Pokemon, no pun intended, to catch them. So, like, there were certain Pokemon that I didn't, there were holes in my Pokedex, and I was like, I don't know where these guys are. So I have to take it upon myself to think about what kind of Pokemon they are, where they would show up, and find them. And I found that really fun.
Nice.
Yeah. There is... Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
Just like, you really have to put yourself in the head of the character that you are, a researcher, essentially, an explorer. Like, you're really, like, experimenting, studying how these Pokemon act, and looking in places that you wouldn't think to, just to find new entries and evolve them. And yeah, it's very creative in the way it makes you think in this game, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember the one time I was just following a path, seeing where it led me, see what I found, and at the end of it, and tucked away in a little corner, was a Turtwig, and I'm like, oh, hell yes. I'm like, that makes me so happy. Cool. I'm like, all right, cool. I do got to ask, though, how often by the end game were you guys actually crafting, or were you just like me, like, screw it, I'm spending money to get the good stuff?
I So it took me a long time to realize this, but the guy who sells you crafting recipes also sells materials, as it turns out. So I just went to him and just bought like 1,000 apricorns.
I should have done
then,
that.
Nice.
And then just crafted everything I needed from that, because it's way cheaper.
I should have thought of
That
that now
makes
that I
sense.
think about it. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you guys, as someone who didn't get to the end of the game. One thing I found myself really excited about, but ultimately really disappointed by, was at least the first noble Pokemon fight, because it was just so... It charges toward you, you dodge roll. It charges toward you, you dodge roll. And that's all it was. Are the other noble Pokemon fights a little bit more mechanically interesting, or...
The second one is pretty much the same from my experience. It wasn't that
Okay.
difficult. The third one, third one, I'd say is when it starts getting interesting, because the area that you fight in is a lot more limited. So it's a smaller arena, so you're a little,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
little bit more threatening in that way. The fourth one, dear God, is that one a bitch?
The fourth one is a nightmare.
Oh, it is.
Gotcha.
It is
Okay.
constant with attacks. Fifth one
Okay, cool.
is impressive, but it took me. Once you learn its pattern, it's not too bad. But it does require you to learn its pattern.
Okay, I appreciate knowing. I'm glad to hear that, because I was like, it's got to be more than this. Like, it was just so simple, and I was like, I wanted it to be more. But I'm glad that later noble Pokemon are more in terms of the fights.
Yeah,
I would kind of agree with Lace in our live audience chat that the first one is really just meant to introduce you to the whole concept.
Sure.
Because, like, for someone like me who does this all the time with, like, Monster Hunter and doing it right now with Elden Ring, like, watching an enemy and learning their attacks to dodge is something I do all the time. But for a Pokemon player, that is just not... That's just
Yeah.
not part of that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a kid who's just playing a kind of game like this for the first time, they're not used to it at all, and it's just a really introductory. And they do get harder, and it kind of does that jump, as you said in the first one. But more or less, like, it's pretty easy to get a grasp of the situation of what they're trying to teach you to do mechanically.
There's also a nice
Got it.
accessibility feature. For, since this is not the typical gameplay for Pokemon, they actually will allow you to restart a boss fight with the amount of health that you had drained from it at certain checkpoints,
Oh, that's nice.
that's good.
so that you don't have to, bang your head against a wall to win.
I banged my head against that wall because I'm used to it.
I mean, I did that too, but it's nice, especially like Daniel said, for young kids, that the option
Yeah.
is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's smart. And another thing I really enjoyed, I'm not sure if you got to experience too much yet, Ash, just seeing the town get built up.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
new buildings get put up, new people get talked about, you can expand the fields. I don't, you can see how Pokemon get sort of integrated more and more into the town as time goes on. That feels good.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that, but it's clearly not, the full scope of it or anywhere close to it. But I have seen a little bit of that, and yeah, it's really the town definitely feels like a fun, living, breathing place, even if the NPC dialogue doesn't get updated all that often.
No, not really.
It actually incentivizes you to do some of the side quests, because a lot of those side quests will result in the citizens of the town having their own Pokemon afterwards, because you're
Right.
introducing them to Pokemon and showing them that they're not scary and they can be your friend. So watching it populate over time was really satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they even like integrate into helping with the town, like the ones that help with the gardening area. Like they shown like they can be useful in your everyday life. They are not as scary as some people think they are. And yeah, I just wish there was like just one thing. I wish there was like a wayfinder for these quests, because I always lose track of where everybody is whenever I start one and then want to finish one.
You have to select an active quest, and it's really obnoxious.
Yeah, you always have to
Yeah.
reselect it, and that's the one you're dedicated towards. You can't. That's the annoying thing. I wanted to go to an area and see all my active quests so I can knock them all out, but you had to go one at a time and read up. It's like, okay, what else is in here that I need to do?
I basically had this rhythm where I would have a few hours in between deciding to do main story stuff, that I would just look at my list, figure out where those things are, and just keep mental notes, go to those places, try to remember to do everything I said, come back, realize I forgot 2 of those things, go back, do those 2 things, come back, realized I forgot 1 thing, go back and do that.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take all of you to finish the Buizel quest?
Oh god, I was like halfway through.
Oh my god.
I still haven't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Oh, it's everybody.
Like,
it is
doing something wrong. Okay.
It is notorious, Ash. It is notorious. And the funny thing is,
I feel much better about that.
You don't know it at the time because it's a certain thing, but I saw somebody posted on Twitter the difference between a 5'10" or a 5'11". I forget the exact height, but I know it's like between 10 and 11. It's literally like you'd think it'd be just like that much, right? Just that 1 inch. No, that much. Like it is
Like,
significantly small. Like that
It
boost.
is very visible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think that. I was just waiting.
there was-
Like I got the notification in my Pokedex. You caught a big Buizel or heavy Buizel. I'm like, oh cool. I must have gotten one. No.
Yeah. No, I know. I kept thinking that too, and I was like, how am I still not getting this thing? And it's one of the very first quests you can get at the very beginning of the game. And I'm like, am I missing something? I'm so glad I wasn't.
No.
Because I'm just like, what? Yeah.
I came to realize that it was so noticeable that eventually I was able to pick one out in the first area of the game and say, that's the one. And I caught it, and it was.
That's awesome.
Okay. I see a few
you can
people
also
in our
catch
live
an alpha.
audience. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Alpha
Yeah.
was easier. I didn't even know that was such a trouble. People were having so much trouble with it. I think it was like my 5th or 6th one, and I just happened to have the one that was big enough. And
Nope.
yeah, I the quest is mean.
I was definitely about halfway through, and there's a couple mean quests like that where you got to get some pretty rare Pokemon and get them all done. But there's also some nice quests where they expand your inventory, or not inventory, expand your what you can buy, or say, hey, here's where to find this Pokemon. Those are nice.
Right.
I like those.
Yeah.
Right.
There are some side quests that are the only way to get certain Pokemon, like Alolan Vulpix.
Yeah, I saw I had that one. I didn't realize it was actually in the game. I saw it was like, well, must be mistaken or something, but I didn't actually get to actively do it because by the time I was done with all Xenoblade, I was like, okay, I got to just get through this game, the rest of this game, and see the end so I can talk about it.
One thing that I have commented on before when I was playing the game and still really feel though, I hope that this is addressed for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but one of the slowest, most arduous openings and tutorial sections of any game in recent memory.
Yeah.
Honestly, it almost turned me off of the game entirely. I'm like, when does this game get going? Because it just the beginning is so slow. It's like the slowest opening this side of Twilight Princess or something. It is ridiculous.
They just won't let go of your hand for a long time.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it hides what is actually a great game behind that. But it almost was enough to deter me from playing it at all. And that's something I really hope they improve in future titles.
Maybe because obviously this is the first time we've ever gotten something like this, and it took a long time for Pokemon to take off the training wheels in the main series. But
that's also true. Yeah,
I think
it's just
hopefully, but yeah, you're right. It is.
It just felt like even by
slow.
Pokemon. It felt even by Pokemon standards to be interminably slow, and I'm just like,
it definitely felt like they weren't respecting their audience's intelligence in a few instances.
Totally.
Yeah. Everyone who's playing this has probably at least looked at Breath of the Wild, knows that you can go there if you see there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's not too much complex about hold Pokeball and throw Pokeball.
Yeah. But I guess we're also, it's important to keep in mind, we're not the core audience for
Pokemon
of course.
games.
This could be somebody's first Pokemon game.
Right.
What a wild experience. Going back would feel very different.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. Speaking of Breath of the Wild, though, I was really struck by just how obvious the aesthetic similarities are to that game. Like, just the color palette. I mean, first of all, the color palette in this game is gorgeous. Even if it's not technically the best looking game, and it's not, you can tell, but just the colors, all the pastels in the sky and the beautiful fields. I love just looking at this game from a color standpoint, even if the actual the draw distance, the actual geometry isn't all that great, but whatever. The color palette is amazing, and then you also get the music, which is mostly ambient, and then you do sometimes get regular songs playing while you're just out and about in the wild. but it focuses in on ambience, and I just got a very clear Breath of the Wild feeling the whole time I was playing in terms of just the aesthetics of it all.
Yeah, even the sound cues, like when you catch something,
Yeah.
everything's like the little piano everything's turned to piano jingles. It's exactly the way Breath of the Wild did. And just like,
Yeah,
this
you're
is
right.
so much DNA infused into this game. Like, they were not shy about it at all.
There's one specific thing in the game that I found really beautiful, and the first time I really looked at it, I just kind of sat there and stared for a few minutes. And that's the skybox.
Yeah,
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Those
It is
clouds are
amazing
so
clouds.
pretty.
it is really beautiful. It's just a
Yeah.
shame when a Pokemon in the distance flies across that sky box because it's literally.
It's 2 frames.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that
yeah.
pulls you out of the experience
Oh.
so quick.
It sure does.
You can
Yeah.
see they're doing that again with Scarlet and Violet, where distant things don't animate at full
Those
frame rate.
windmills.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to accept little things like that, because outside of that, this game is
Yeah.
really, really rock solid.
Yeah.
Like,
it,
the
Yeah.
frame rate is solid. The
yeah.
some of the visuals aren't great, like when a Pokeball goes underwater. Yikes!
Oh, and have you guys noticed, like, when you're inside certain caves, there's just all these white particles around your character that just, like,
Yep.
yeah. I don't know how to
noticed
describe it, but yeah, it's just like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
It is such a mixed bag visually, where its style is good, but the technical know-how behind it is rough.
hmm
Still very experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of Game Freak's bread and butter right there, where they can make it.
SRMO.
Yeah.
I mean, you
It's-
got to
yeah.
give them credit for a first go at something at this scale.
True.
They did a dang good job.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the speedrunning community has had a lot of criticisms of the game because they can't break it.
Hey, I saw the Bibarel Bridge.
Well, yeah, but it's not breakable enough
Yeah.
Right.
compared to
right.
something like Diamond and Pearl, which is littered with bugs.
Yeah. You can beat it in 12 minutes.
There was clearly a lot of Q&A and debug time put into this, and that's nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think it worked out. It's it does its job, and I will say, when I was so happy when the trainer battle theme remix came up in this game, because that's one of my favorite battle themes of any Pokemon game.
It's really good.
And to get that
Yeah.
remix back, I was like, yes, please. That's exactly what I want. Otherwise, though, I'm assuming all of you are probably taken as much off guard as I was by just how freaking hard Pokemon hit in this game. It feels like those in battles, like your Pokemon, it's either, if it's not a one-shot, it's definitely a two-shot for it to die.
They definitely are trying to push you to use strong and agile style because you have to survive.
Yeah. No, I noticed that. Even fighting Pokemon that are around your level, even with your starter, they hit back harder than I've ever been used to in any other Pokemon game. Like, usually it's just mindless, and you can just mash your way to victory if you want. That is not the case in this game, which I like. That is absolutely an improvement.
Grit
Game's got
becomes...
teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that grit is kind of necessary.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Was it you, Daniel, who, or it was either Daniel or Brandon who took grit and just pumped every stat to level 10 for one of their starter?
Oh yeah, I maxed my Decidueye. It's just level 10s across the board. Can't
Nice.
get any better than it is.
How was your experience with the battle system, Daniel?
Yeah, battles were a trip. I mean, I noticed it took me a moment to notice, but after a while, it was like you can't switch out your Pokemon during a battle when another trainer is gonna switch out. You're like stuck in Nuzlocke rules without you even
got that
having a
set battle
warning.
style. I noticed that right away. I'm like, oh crap, they were serious. This game would be rough to Nuzlocke.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would be a nightmare because your Pokemon, despite the fact that they've kind of adjusted stats so much that your Pokemon have more HP than previous games, it doesn't really matter for anything because you're still getting one shot, two shot, and if you don't, it really promotes you having the type advantage because if you don't, you're pretty much done in one hit if you're dead.
Yeah.
And sometimes those situations will be even worse because I think up to 5 Pokemon can battle you at once.
I've only had 3, but I can believe 5.
I think I've had 3 max
There was
myself.
like
Yeah.
4 in one of those time rifts. It was ridiculous.
Oh wow.
Oh,
They
Like
dog
if
pile
you're
on
not
you.
careful, yeah, exactly. They will just destroy you.
yeah. Time rift scared me at a certain point. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come back here when I'm, a much higher level. Then I'll do these so I can actually take these things. Because dear God, I can barely get one caught without losing my entire team. Just in the middle of the
Yeah.
battle. So, oof.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the kind of the time system with speed?
I think it worked well. It reminded me of some other RPGs that use that sort of style of system, and I tried to make it work for me as much as possible. Like if I see them getting two, I like immediately switch to an agile style so I can try to interrupt that flow and at least get some sort of fight in between.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The
I
most
didn't.
I
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't play obviously quite enough of the game to really dig into strong and agile as much as I would have liked, because you don't really get that until the end of the first area or thereabouts. So I didn't play. I only played probably part way into the second area, so I didn't experiment with that aspect of the battle system as much as I'd like, but I could tell from the beginning that they really push you to use it.
Yeah.
I think at one point, I think it was my Luxray got 3 turns in a row, and I was like, this feels not right.
Especially for Pokemon standards.
Yeah.
Quick attack in particular seems really good in this game, like absurdly good. I mean, at least in the early game, just because it basically almost guarantees you 2 turns in a row. I know there are certain instances in which it wouldn't, but almost any time I use quick attack or it was used on me, it was a free second hit.
It was interesting
And
seeing
that
it
might
all
even be
shift.
without the speed type. Yeah.
Like just how different moves definitely worked differently this time around. And I kind of love the fact that, like, if you're dumb enough, you can walk in the middle of battle and still get hit and taken out. Like, you need to steer clear of those attacks. The battling is such a mixed bag for me because there's a lot of fun changes. There's a lot of things that like make it tougher and make you have to really think and plan and be ready. And I love the fact that you can actively choose what 4 moves your Pokemon has. That is a godsend.
Yep.
That is the best change in this game.
Please don't ever go back.
Yeah, please. This
100%
is
agree.
fantastic. And the way that you can just easily buy new moves from a person right in town, yes, that is the way it should be done, the way it should be kept. What should not be kept is, for the love of God, if my Pokemon kill another Pokemon, give me the experience. Don't wait to the end of battle. I'm so used to the other way of sending in the weak Pokemon and try to get like those little bonuses from being actually in battle that they would die and they wouldn't get any experience at all. So my strong Pokemon just kept getting stronger. It's like, oh God, come on.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Like, they demand you win a battle if you want to see the reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that coupled with how hard battles already are to keep your Pokemon alive, you're just switching someone out, putting revives in the others, pumping them in so that they can still get the experience at the end, and just like, oh please, I just want you to level up.
Yeah.
At the very least, like, they offset that a little bit because there's the guy in town who sells you experience candy.
Right.
So you can catch up some Pokemon and hopefully avoid that awful situation.
That's what I tended to do. I just pumped whatever experience candies I had into lower level Pokemon who fainted during big fights. I was just like, I'll get them caught up that way. Experience candies seem common enough that it's not that big a deal.
More or less.
Especially considering that the game just lets you buy them at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of buying, I doubt any of us, especially not Ash, have fully upgraded your bag holding and spent the million Pokédollars. That is ridiculous.
As much as I could. That's what I spent 90% of my money on during the time that I played. Was just bag. Yeah, just bag.
It's worth it to a certain point, but after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go back and drop off my extra stuff and then return, because to get it fully upgraded, like, I am not spending and that's how much it is, Ash. 1 million for the final upgrade.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And
I
it's
think
still,
I'm up to like 40,000 for an upgrade or something, something.
yeah,
like
I
that.
stopped around there. I don't even think I got that high as far as being able to catch. I
Really?
mean,
Maybe
stack
it's more
stuff
like
in.
20,000 or something.
But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm at a point now where I feel pretty comfortable. Like, yeah, I will. I still have to go back, but I'll deal with it. And yeah, according to Duke of Donuts here, they think it's like 4.5 million total that you'll spend if you want to fully upgrade your bag.
That is just
Something
that's
close to that.
stupid.
It might not be the exact number, definitely close to it. And it is utterly ridiculous.
What kind of knowledge does this man have that it's this expensive?
I know.
And I know it's an intentional design decision to make it feel like you're really out there in the wild and you're scavenging and you can only hold so much, but I gotta say, I've always been more for player convenience when it comes to limited inventories. I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West right now, for example, and I love that when your pack is full, you can just pick up whatever resources you have, and it's sent to Aloy's stash automatically. Does it make any sense? No. Is it completely universe breaking? Sure, I guess, but I don't care. I can suspend my disbelief in order to just have the convenience of not having to run out of room when I'm out and about. That annoyed me, but I get that it was an intentional decision that I just don't jive with.
Yeah, I mean, and that's only if you want to get all the slots. You know, it's
sure
you
don't need them at all.
Yeah, by the time you get to the really expensive stuff, you typically have enough room in your bag. It's just that completionist mindset that kind of gets in the way.
And the game does offer you a lot of ways to make money fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I did seem to notice that.
If you go to the time rifts, you'll often find nuggets. You'll get the stardust. You'll get the different the colored stones, which you can then craft into more expensive star pieces that you can sell.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is nice.
And then in the post game, occasionally you'll come across the Fortune Sisters, and if you beat them, they just give you 4 nuggets every time.
Oh, well, that's
definitely nice. I did not experience that. There's a lot of the post game, like beyond the story of the post game, that I've not experienced, like going after the legendary Pokemon that are around there, doing the here's a chance to rematch against everything, basically.
Yeah.
And do all those. There's a lot of content here.
And they added, honestly, quite a bit more with that update.
I've been watching Joe Merrick's tweets about like the single one or whatever they call it. I forget what the whole thing is.
The Path of Solitude.
Path of Solitude. And dear God, like the fact that you can get a mark on your Pokedex after completing it for every single Pokemon in the Pokedex is ridiculous. If you want to do everything in this game, you will be there for hundreds of hours.
Some of those battles are like based on the anime too.
Yeah, he did mention
that's
that.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like some of the legendaries will pair you with Pokemon that were in those movies. But more often than not, you'll fight a Pokemon that has advantage over you. And in the cases of some legendary Pokemon, you'll fight multiple Pokemon. And it just feels like an impossible uphill climb.
Yeah, you get, even at level 100, like it's still a challenge from everything I've heard. So don't know if I'm ever going to do that because I'm not sure if the rewards technically justify it. But hey, more gameplay for those who want to do it. So cool there. I think that's most of the gameplay, though, at least for the general gameplay. Unless there's anything else that you guys wanted to mention before we move on to our new Pokemon.
I do have one thing.
Okay.
One thing little wrinkle that I enjoyed about the game was the merit point system. I like the online functionality such that you could just find the packs of people who've blacked out in the wild and help them. It's like it helps them, it helps you. It's fun to explore the areas to find people's packs. It's just kind of a cool extra thing that I think was well considered and well implemented, and I liked it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was a fun little inclusion.
Good reward incentive too.
Yeah, especially those fact that they have items now for all those things that you would need to trade otherwise, and the trading option is still there. You can still trade if you want and get have them evolve. But or
you can use the linking cable.
Or you can use the linking cable. Item. Yes.
Right.
It is there.
I love that trading animation though. It's fantastic.
Oh, speaking of animations, real quick. Yeah, the trading animation's fantastic.
Or the evolution one.
The evolution one. My God, that emphasizes the threat of these. Like they look Like, oh God, what have I done?
Menacing.
It goes so
actually-
hard. Yeah.
You just reminded me of another change that I really appreciated, was being able to manually trigger evolutions once they're ready.
Yes. Yes,
I
that
love
is nice.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of people who don't evolve their Pokemon for whatever reason, and now you don't have to press B every time you level up.
Right.
Yep. And it's nice because, hey, I'm not ready to evolve this guy yet because I want to complete its, Pokedex entry.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
Very useful.
So I gotta ask. We'll go in two separate categories here. What is your favorite new Hisuian form? Ash probably hasn't seen too many of them yet, but
Yeah, I have.
there's quite a lot
I'm looking
here.
them up right now.
I know we saw this one pre-release, but God, I love Voltorb.
Voltorb is pretty great.
Just this wooden ball with these very rigid brows. He's so cute.
The one on my team. Yep. Love him so much.
I love how he's the happy one, but Electrode is the unhappy one now. Just swap that and make them, grass.
They
as
even
typing
went as
well.
far as to have the little hole that the steam comes out of on the Pokeballs. Like
Yeah.
it's built into their design, which is awesome.
It's so good. I love. I'm split between two. For Zorora and Zoroark, both look cool pre-release, but the ones that surprised me as far as evolutions that I did not expect, or swaying forms I did not expect, Lilligant and Gudra. I think they look awesome.
Yeah.
So
When I was sitting next to my wife when she got to the Lilligant battle, and she audibly yelled, "She's so cute."
Oh, nice. Nice.
yeah. It's-
Another great one for me, and I've found this as common amongst my friends, is I flippin' love Sneasler.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's
So sassy.
brand new one. I love riding on Sneasler because just them
Yeah.
tucking you into a basket where your eyes are just peeking out is the best animation.
It's so funny.
It is-
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Sneasel's pretty great. Hisuian Sneasel's pretty great.
I love and the best. I'm sorry. The best new name for a Pokemon of this set has to be Overquill.
It's so good.
Oh, uh-huh.
Overquill.
I have to say, this is kind of a boring answer because it's one of the ones we knew about from the beginning. But I've been looking through, and I like Sneasel. I think Zoroark's pretty cool. I love, what is it? Lilligant. I think Hisuian Lilligant's really cool looking. But at the end of the day, I'm biased. You guys know me. I'm a dog lover. It comes back to Hisuian Growlithe. He's so cute with the big bushy hair, and I know we knew about it from the beginning, but that's still my favorite Hisuian form, I think, overall.
I tried to make Hisuian Arcanine
So
viable on
cute.
my team, but he's weak to so much. 4 times weak to so much.
Yeah.
It sucks. It is so rough to have him on the team.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah.
bad. And I'm looking at Arcanine now as well, and Arcanine looks cool, but Growlithe is just adorable with the hair covering its eyes, and I can't help but love it.
Which starter do we feel has the best Hisuian form for their final evolution?
That's tough.
Typhlosion.
For me, it's pretty easily Decidueye. I gotta say, the others are fine, but I think Decidueye is a cut above.
It took me a while to notice the major difference with Samurott. It's
I still don't think I know what it is.
a longer mustache, I guess, and black
Yeah.
and the black tips. But I like that it's water dark. I like dark type and has an awesome new move that basically does damage and also does the little bit of damage at a time, like as if you put out spikes. So its unique move is awesome.
I'm kind of with Daniel though on Typhlosion.
I'm gonna stay a stand for Typhlosion because I was hoping before I even knew that there was gonna be Hisuian forms that he was gonna get an upgrade to his form, and it's questionable as far as an upgrade because some people will look at it and say like he's he's just vibing with that expression.
He's been hanging around. He's been hanging around Sprigatito a little too much.
Right? Yeah.
But like because obviously people know that Typhlosion, when he doesn't look like a big potato, he has the flare going out on around his by the back of his neck. But for Hisuian form, it's like this purple like ring of fire going around him instead, with a really unique glow. And he's a ghost type. I had no idea that he was gonna be fire ghost type.
That's a cool
so
typing.
That's
It's
cool.
a really cool typing.
Yeah.
And I just love the way he is, like as he is. He's fine the way he is for me. I'm biased because Cyndaquil is one of my favorite Pokemon, but the Hisuian Typhlosion I think deserves more credit. And just
the fire on the neck I think is really cool.
I wish it
Agreed.
stayed out, but they still leave it protracted unless they're in a battle. But it looks really
I have
cool.
to say, the fire on Cyndaquil's back when Cyndaquil is in battle looks really cool.
I haven't
Oh,
gotten
yeah.
to see it yet. Oh, that's awesome.
It really is.
I will say of the new Pokemon, the one that surprised me that I just kind of love from a design standpoint, I love Ursaluna. Just this big old
He's
bear.
so chunky.
He's a big chunky
Big
bear. I love him.
Uh-huh.
He's so good.
Took me a long
Yeah.
time to figure out how to get that evolution.
I still have not. I'll look it up later at some point, but I didn't worry about it
Right.
too much. But it's cool.
It's dumb. I'll just say that.
Oh, is it dumb? Oh,
I
boy.
see.
There's a lot of dumb evolutions tactics out there now for old Pokemon.
I only say that because there was, as far as I know, there's nowhere in the game that it really tells you.
That's what I was waiting on. Like, does it tell you anything about that? Like, does it pop up? Okay, I just looked up what it is. That is really dumb.
Yeah. How do you do that on accident?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's weird. At least getting Cleavor is a little easier.
Yeah, that one's nice and straightforward.
Wait,
I don't mind when they're kind of like specific like that, but you gotta give me some kind of hint.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh boy, but yeah, I'd say overall fun new batch. It's honestly a surprising amount of new Pokemon getting introduced here. Way more than I thought there'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like usually with new Pokemon games, there's like maybe one new or one or so, but here's like an actual handful. Like it's a good amount, that not as much as a new generation you'd expect, like with the loading forms or so, but still a hefty amount.
And
I'm actually just now seeing the origin forms of Dialga and Palkia for the first time, and they're cool looking. They're neat.
yeah, they look.
Yeah,
I really
they kind of
like
remind me
that.
of the. They kind of remind me of the. What was the extra upgrade to the Gen 3 legendaries called? It was like the
Ancient
ancient
Or-
form or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
for Groudon and I can't remember the other one, but yeah, it kind of reminds me
prehistoric
of
forms.
the priest or whatever they're called.
That
yeah.
yeah, that's it.
It kind of reminds me of that kind of upgrade, like the visual upgrade. It's kind of neat.
It is pretty cool. Pretty fun to
Primal.
see. Yeah,
Primal.
Primal, that's
Primal.
what primal form.
Oh,
primal
okay.
Yeah.
reversion.
That's the,
I am curious how they're going to institute the Hisuian forms into modern Pokemon games from now on. Though that number does bring us now to 905 Pokemon. Add in,
Jeez.
of course, the new starters, and we're up to 908. So I gonna just put out a completely random guess here. That doesn't even have to do anything to do with it. I feel like they're gonna get us to either 999 or 1000 before Gen 10. That way they can start with 1001 as the starter number for Gen
that's
10.
what Duke of
yeah.
Donuts said in our live audience chat too.
That'd be cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they did that, yeah.
Cool.
So that nice little cyclical, and I do like that idea, Duke of Donuts. Thank you.
that's neat.
Well, with that, should we get into the real spoiler stuff for the story?
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, you calm down all of the Pokemon, all the nobles. It's all done, all set. And then all hell breaks loose and the sky goes
Oh,
crazy. the sky
yeah.
gets all distorted and messed up. And it's like, whew, okay. that is something. I will say the biggest twist to me that I did not see coming was the turnaround of Komodo. And him kind of like kicking you out, you having to go outside the system in order to keep protecting everybody and finally have a purpose for the two tribes, because there was only a handful of those characters on either side that I actually liked. Most of them are just like, you are really annoying. I will say.
I just like the leaders, really.
Yeah.
It's just I only like the leaders so far. I just didn't play as far in, but so far I just like the leaders and just them.
That one guy in the ice area, I thought so highly of
Melia?
himself. Yeah, Melia. Oh, he is the worst.
Throw him off a bridge. Go away, Melia.
Now I'm curious.
That doesn't even come to design. He's just like, I'm the best, and like I know what's going on, and it's just like you are beneath me, and even if you lose, like I'm.
He's such a jerk to you.
Yeah,
really.
He is the absolute worst. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is that you have to work to try to figure out what's going on that's causing this crazy sky. It turns out there's a Pokemon coming from the other side of the rift, and Komodo had an encounter with this where Pokemon did a lot of damage to where he was previously, and so he's kind of been can't trust Pokemon at this point. That's not a good thing. And so he's like, well, you came from the rift, and we see that Pokemon on the other side of the rift. This is your fault. I don't care that you helped me all this time. So he kicks you out. You are banished from the town for a while, Ash.
Interesting. Yeah, I would not have guessed that. Very interesting.
There's a whole sequence where you're like escorted out of the town, and people are looking at you, saying things about you behind your back, and it's like you feel like very
terrible,
isolated for what you've done.
Yeah,
you didn't even do anything.
Well, and they make you feel isolated even on the best of days. Like it doesn't ever feel like, at least from what I played, that the citizens ever really get to, or the villagers ever really seem to trust you. They see you as an outsider.
They do at a certain point. As the time goes on, and you get booted out. And I did answer during the whole bit where you're talking to each of the lake Pokemon, which I do like how they worked in that bit of. I didn't even realize those were the lakes.
That was cool.
That's actually cool. I didn't know that they did that. That's neat.
But they were asking your feelings and like, how did you feel when that happened? I was like, I felt betrayed. Screw these people. I did all this work for you, and you kick me out. That's just not right. But then you have the actual fight with you get to it, you sort of make up for it, you learn what you got to do in order to make it all happen, and get the whole fight with that origin. Well, you fight and capture one legendary, I guess, whichever clan you chose. Did you guys choose Pearl or Diamond?
I chose Pearl.
I chose Pearl as well.
I would have chosen Pearl. I like the leader of Pearl more.
We all hear the stands here, I guess.
I guess so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right choice.
I don't dislike the leader of the Diamond Clan, but just Irida was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like both of them a lot.
They're cool together, yeah.
But I assume, because I ended up fighting Palkia first.
Yeah.
And like capture that one. And then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh God, there's another one beyond the rift, and you have to take off. And I think, I can't remember, was it Palkia or Dialga that we had to do the actual like boss fight where you have to calm them down, like the typical noble?
It was Dialga.
Dialga. Okay, so the opposite one. And you go into that fight, you have to do the calming fight, and then you send out Palkia, and then you go into their origin form, and I gotta admit, it's kind of epic. It's kind of cool.
Nice
how they do all
and
that.
There's a really cool moment during that entire sequence that made my brain go, wow.
What was that one again?
Oh, interesting.
Tell me.
When they all show up, the area around you just kind of falls apart.
Oh yeah, the explosion.
And then it becomes Spear Pillar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's right. Cool. It did do that. I remember seeing that. I was like, oh my God, that is the origin of it. It's like,
that's really cool.
Those little moments where they can work in the lore of Diamond and Pearl were some of the best.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. Between that and the lake Pokemon, I didn't realize either of those were a thing in this. It makes sense given what Hisui is, but that's just really cool that they did that.
Yeah, getting to experience why it was destroyed in the first place is just, oh my God.
Yeah. It is really cool. I also like the fact that Arceus' original name was Sinnoh, or no, Palkia and Dialga's original name was Sinnoh. They both called it. It's like, oh wait, they come through and it's like, oh, they're actually Palkia and Dialga.
Yeah, each clan thought their
Right.
god was Sinnoh or Arceus, and then they're like, oh no, we're both wrong.
Right. How did they come to find that out? Like, how did the names Dialga and Palkia come about?
The legendaries basically tell them. Like
okay.
they had with their clan leader, they're spoken to by the legendary themselves, and that's where they learn their name.
Oh, cool.
They're like, oh,
Like you've been.
our religion
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Like, kinda, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I clearly I do want to make time to go finish this because I love what I'm hearing. Even knowing what happened, it's really cool. Also, LA, will you calm down? Jesus.
You would think at some point they would.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it's a pretty cool, epic final battle. But as many people told me, that's not the real hype moment. This is what the real police for. The post game is where it gets really interesting, where all of a sudden you have to visit and catch a bunch of legendary Pokemon because of this Volo. It's Volo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bolo.
Just pushing you forward, and you want to collect all the rest of the plates, the Arceus plates. And finally pays off that whole thing. And how'd you guys feel about the reveal of Volo?
I mean, I saw it coming from 80 years away, but
Yeah.
but it was still cool.
Yeah.
Dude's got some problems.
Dude's got some major
yes.
problems. Because I thought, like, especially with the little symbol around his neck and his hairstyle, like, oh, he's like the Cynthia ancestor. Cool. Oh, crap. He's gone insane. And he's the one that caused the rift in the first place. Because, so his deal, Ash, Volo, you find out, he was trying to contact Arceus himself. He was the one who created the rift by working with Giratina.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's Giratina's stake in all this?
Giratina was, the whole thing was like banished to the distortion world and whatnot, and wanted to escape. And
Right.
then Volo actively berates him for not wanting to get to reach Arceus enough and get revenge on Arceus because he's just that
actually pretty
desperate
great.
to meet it. It's pretty wild.
Man.
And dear God, is the fight hard. You want to challenge Ash. This fight kicked my ass.
It is brutal.
So difficult.
Just brutal.
Is this a regular Pokemon battle or is it like a noble Pokemon fight?
No, it's a regular Pokemon battle. So here's the structure. You have a 616, basically a champion battle against Volo. All his Pokemon are like around level 70.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so you have a 616 battle against him. And then, after you defeat him, he calls forth Giratina. You don't heal between this. It is immediately into the Giratina battle.
Wow, all right.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I beat him, I had one Pokemon left, and I beat him. I was like, cool, Giratina shows up. I'm dead. I had to go in with so many max revives. I had to bring out a Blissey in order to be able to take the hits so I could max revive my other hard-hitting Pokemon. But here's the fun part, Ash. Even if you beat Giratina, it goes into its, what is it? With its special form. Origin form, yeah. It goes into origin form, gets its health back. It is a 3-phase fight.
You don't heal between any of them.
Yeah, and you can't heal between any of them. It is the 616 battle, then Giratina, and then Giratina Form 2.
Yeah, it's interesting
I
that
appreciate that.
Volvo's team is essentially Cynthia's team from Diamond and Pearl, except for Milotic, because Milotic isn't in this game. That's the only difference. But it's like you're facing the champion battle all over again, and the music is like remixed to her like pre-battle theme. It's pretty epic,
Cool.
Yeah.
honestly. I'm sure I would love the end game if I got there.
Is there a consensus on what the whole ancestry with Cynthia is? Because there's some stuff going on.
They don't really explain it because we got Volo, who looks a lot like, and then we got, what's her name?
Kogita?
Yeah, Kogita. And she
dresses like her.
Yeah. So
has her hair color, or not her hair color, but hairstyle.
The hair like over her eye.
It's almost like I wonder if they don't actually ever say anything about it, because you guys completed the Pokedex, right?
Yeah, you never get any deeper lore with her.
There's some
That's so
there's some funny things with the lore in this game, because Ingo from Black and White is in this game, and he's not even part of Gen 4,
That's
and
odd.
he doesn't have any memory of what's going on or why he's there. And poor Emmett, he got forgotten. He's probably wondering where Ingo is, and like what happened with this? This man is like all roughed up, and
Why
They
did
ju-
they bring him here?
They just said he just got taken through the portal again. I guess they wanted to have that thing, and then you can see other ancestors, like what's her name, the redhead from earlier on. I think you already met her, Ash. It was obviously Mars from Team Galaxy. Yeah,
Galactic.
Team Galactic.
Game.
God, I'm
Galactic.
mixing them up. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So it's that's pretty cool. It's like how they bring all this stuff in. I'm gonna have to rely on you two though, because the reward for catching every Pokemon or getting your Pokedex complete, not stamped, but complete, is a noble battle against Arceus itself.
Oh, cool.
It is, and it is brutal.
Yes, it should be.
Arceus basically never stops attacking, ever. You just have to get in every throw you possibly can. Arceus will also change forms constantly through the fight, and that's how you know which attacks it's going to be using based
Oh my
on
god.
which form it's in. But it will kick your booty. Roger had me edit a video of him doing the fight, and he had a time and a half with it.
I'm glad though, because you're essentially fighting God. I mean, so
Right.
I like that you're fighting this universe's version of God. It should be really hard. I'm glad they didn't shy away from that.
And then like one last piece of lore that goes along with this is Arceus tells you that Arceus itself is in fact the reason you're here. It brought you here to stop all of this.
Yeah. Which
That's
I kind of figured from the
opening
beginning.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
opening kind of gives you that.
And then after you beat it, you don't catch it. It lends a piece of itself to you.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah,
That's kind of
yeah.
cool.
God.
You cannot catch God. God will not allow it.
But that piece
That
of
makes
it, does
more
that allow
sense.
you to use it in battle? Like, what is...
Yeah, it doesn't actually join your team. You'll find it in your pasture.
Oh, that's funny.
Which looks really funny.
Weird.
Does it just
you
look
know,
like Arceus?
It is Arceus. It says
It
it's
is
a
Arceus,
piece of
you know.
itself, so you get
Just
the
grazing.
impression that it's not his full power.
Okay, so
Got it.
that's their
Okay.
explanation, because everybody's like, we captured God in a Pokeball. Perfect. It's
That's cool.
no, you captured a
Contained it.
piece of
A
God.
piece of it,
And
yeah.
he let you.
Yeah, he let you.
Then
Like,
he let
you
you.
impressed me enough that I will let you have this piece. You know what? As an in-game explanation, that works.
That's cool.
Yeah, or else the lore
Also-
would have gone all kinds of crazy.
But apparently, according to Classy Mudkip in our live audience, there's also a really cool lore revelation that the real Arceus resides in a higher dimensional plane, and the Arceus you use in game is like an avatar or emanation. That's cool.
Huh.
Yeah, so
That's neat.
we probably don't actually know what Arceus really looks like.
Yeah,
That's kind of amazing.
Oh man,
that's kind of cool. I like that they did that.
it's gonna be Pokemon 1000, and then they're gonna start
Right.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you actually get an additional piece of post-game content with
Oh,
the
really?
update that just came out. After you do all the new quests that they give you in the update, you will hear something coming from your room, and then you go inside and the camera zooms in on your bed, and if you go to sleep, you'll wake up in Arceus' dimension again, and he will challenge you to a gauntlet.
Oh, dear God.
Just an endless amount of battles, I think. I don't know if there's an end point, but you
Wow.
can't
Oh.
use items, and you take your team and last as long as you can.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
That
This
is.
game goes on forever.
It does. Like, dear God, that is
Yeah.
so much content.
Yeah.
He'll give you 3 options, asking you what you want to fight, but they're vague, so they don't tell you exactly what it is. But space and time, for example, is one of them. So
Yeah.
you fight Palkia and Dialga at the same time. Most of the fights are legendary or Hisuian forms. So I think there is an endpoint. I did not get there though because it's a lot.
I want to see if Sarah B managed to do it yet. Did what do you know what it's called?
I don't think it has a name.
Yeah.
It's just a challenge that he gives you.
Like Arceus DLC.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know, Joe Merrick has done this.
Joe knows by now. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, path. I guess I'm guessing it's the Path of Tenacity. Actually, no, it is not.
Let's see. I don't have my Switch, so I can't just look it up.
Eternal Battle Reverie.
That's it.
So it does seem like let's see. This is a non-stop battle situation where Arceus gives 3 options to battle, and the battle will continue until you lose. After you finish, you will get a number of items based on how well you've done, including XP candy, grid items, nuggets, seeds of mastery, rare candies, and star pieces. If you reach 50 battles and defeat Arceus, you will get a mark on your save card.
Oh my god! 50 battles?
50 battles.
And once you hit a 20 battle streak, you start facing off against level 100 Pokemon. So you have to get through at least 30 fights of potentially level 100 opponents to even get to Arceus. That's wild.
Yeah, once I got into the 20s, they or not the 20s. Once I got into the teens, they became level 90. And I was like, I can see where this is going.
I'm seeing a battle here where you fight Dialga and Palkia at the same time.
Yep. I think there's a separate one where you fight them in their origin forms at the same time too. But basically, every battle will award you points. If you choose to take on a more difficult battle, you'll get more points. And you can spend those points in between battles to heal your Pokemon, restore your PP, change your lead Pokemon, because you can't do that, and stuff like that. But as you keep doing it, they become more expensive.
Oh my god.
That's wild.
So I got up to Giratina, and I just couldn't afford to heal my Pokemon anymore, and just got obliterated.
People wanted a battle tower. Here you go.
There it is.
Pretty much.
It literally could not get any more difficult than this.
That is incredible.
That's refreshing, though, for Pokemon.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
So if you want difficult battle DLC, it's already in the game.
Yeah, there it is. And you know what? I think we could probably wrap it up at this point, but I think that's why this game stands out so much. Like, it has its rough edges, some very, very rough edges. But the things it does well, it does super well. And
yeah,
I could see it being a favorite. I'm not sure. I haven't decided whether it's a favorite of mine yet. I want to try to maybe find the time to complete the Pokedex so I can see the Arceus battle, but dear God, am I not doing all that other stuff post game stuff. I'm satisfied experiencing the Volo and Giratina fight, but yeah, it is something else.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on Pokemon Legends, Ash?
No, I pretty much gave my thoughts. I'm enjoying it. I want to go back to it. I'm glad I was here for this discussion, because even though I know some of the spoilers now, I'm still curious to see them and experience them myself in context. So, and I'm sure there's plenty of amazing music at the end of the game, because it's a Pokemon game. So I really want to get back to it and play it. I just need the time. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and I really hope that Pokemon continues in a direction like this, where it just continues to be outside of its comfort zone, catching Pokemon on the fly, seeing Pokemon in their natural habitats, and based on what we'll be seeing of Scarlet and Violet, that seems to be the case.
Gives you hope for Scarlet and Violet after playing this, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is a great experiment for what the Pokemon can become, and I'm really interested to see how much of this carries on and is injected into future generations. Hopefully, plenty of the more modernized aspects of it. But I guess we're just gonna wait and see for that later this year.
Yeah, not too long. What about you, Brandon?
We had the baseline for this in Sword and Shield with the wild areas. They expanded it again with Legends Arceus, and it seems like they are still pressing on in that direction. I love this game, and I I'm gonna have a hard time ever going back. I'm gonna be honest. So if I can't throw Pokeballs in Scarlet and Violet, I might be a little sad.
We'll have to keep an eye out for that moment. So far, I cannot tell you what one way or the other from my analysis. That we got one screenshot. It could easily be like, I know those battles are taking place in the overworld. I have no idea if it's like you run into them and then you're like, okay, battle stations type thing, or if it's something else. I don't know. But either way, I had a lot of fun. It was so nice seeing the Pokemon community enjoying a Pokemon game.
I know.
That's so rare. And obviously there's there's some offshoots that aren't as into it, but for the most part, 90%, I will take that most people seem to enjoy this game and had good word of mouth, and thank God for that. But for now, we'll have to see if Scarlet and Violet can live up to our expectations set after this game. But that does cover it for our Pokemon Legends Arceus post-review discussion. So thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming. But even just subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell helps us a ton. So until next time, bye.
See ya.
Later.
Meet again.